Hey, how's it going? Rich Teller here. So, welcome back. This is the end of year vlog, and been a bit of a roller coaster to be honest. So, I'm going to start sharing with you what happened right now. So, back in January, the Gillespie coin reached a market cap of $200,000, and at that point, I wasn't sure what the hell was going on. To be honest, I don't exactly consider myself a degen. However, given it's Gillespie's bag, I'm sure we'll find out in his Deegan documentary once it comes out, if it ever does. I was introduced to a filmmaker called Left House, fellow filmmaker and longtime Film 3 nerd. And if you haven't seen his film The Rabbit Hole, please go and check it out. Big thanks to Shane for the intro. Brian and I have been working on and off through the year on the Indikin project since we met. And I can't believe it's been a year since the white paper was published and how out of date it's become over that time. But it's been a struggle, especially to find the right team. People came, people went, but I kept pushing things forward best I can because it's basically what I do here in this space. And more importantly, it's what Gillespie must become. So Tom interviewed a lot of amazing people for the documentary so far, and through those interviews myself, I learned a lot about DeFi and the various alchemies that go on, like the liquidity webs and the bots, which has gone on to inform some of what I now see Indikin needed to come true. And that's largely thanks to PulsePup, who had a similar concept, or a concept that we lent from at least. So big thanks to Pup for the idea for the index. Keep your eyes peeled for the light paper to learn more about how that works. Tom was invited to the Bitcoin halving event and film festival in Poland, where he met some incredible Bitcoin filmmakers, and one such chap, Michael, ended up affecting the course of the Deegan documentary quite dramatically, but certainly for the better. Shortly after, I set up Tom on a collaboration with Left House and Shane, Richard's brother, to attend the Consensus in Austin, Texas, and make a film about it. It was a good experience, I think. The cooperation worked out really well, especially over a long distance. And you can check it out. It's called Pulse of Consensus, and it's on the Bitjoin YouTube channel. While I was on holiday in Sardinia, thanks to a nice chap from the Bitcoin film festival, I was able to meet up with Carl, another fellow filmmaker and a dude with tons of crypto experience and a great understanding of everything in Web3. I'm really, really happy to connect with Carl and got a great interview with Tom and Carl. You can check out a clip on the Bitjoin YouTube channel. Just after midsummer, I headed up north and with Michael to meet Alan, who at that time I thought was going to be the Indikin team, but let's just say I wasn't really prepared for the harsh truths that I learned about the different approaches to raising capital in DeFi, especially for a project like Indikin. And in addition, the challenges to creating sound relationships in such a chaotic space. And indeed, earlier on in the year, I even got caught up in a MLM scheme while I was trying to investigate investment for Indikin. So there's certainly a grand divide between crowd fundraising, retail, whatever you want to call it, and VC fundraising, and that became really apparent during that trip. But what came out of it all was the realization that I needed to return to the human-centric approach. I was way too focused on the tech and the vision, and I can only chalk that up to the reason that nobody wanted to join for the long term, I guess. After that trip, when I got home, I was introduced by Georgia to a guy called Raymond Hernandez in Hollywood. He wanted to take Gillespie to a next stage of production, I guess. But required raising $2.9 million. I think it was 2.6 maybe. And I just, I'm not the guy to do that, and I wasn't able to find the guy to do that. So if you are that guy, reach out. I still would like to see what Gillespie would do in a sort of better finance production. After updating the website to add all the cohort profiles, I was contacted by a private researcher suggesting that one of the profiles was a North Korean hacker, sort of like showboating as a developer. And I'd been talking to him for over a year about building Indikin, and luckily no code was built. But thank you, Mr. Security Researcher, whoever you are. Thanks for hitting me up about that. We sent Gillespie and Tommy to the Proof of Work Summit in Frankfurt, Germany. Big thanks to Michael for the invitation there. Got some really good interviews like Charlie Lee and a few other fellas, which took me back years to all those old conversations around the many early forks of Bitcoin. Tom and Tommy then went on to Prague at the Hackers Congress event at Parallel Nepolis. And Tom interviewed more legends like Amir Taki, who's been in the crypto and privacy space for over a decade. Returning home, I felt like, it was time to move into post-production. I had enough footage, and I started to cut for episodes for the documentary with them. I'm still hoping that I'm going to start publishing early next year. The story's become a hell of a lot more clear in the past weeks, at least. That's for sure. Everything's kind of falling into place now. And you can stay tuned for updates on the Indikin project by either subscribing to the newsletter at bitjoinstudios.com or hopping into one of the chats you find at indikin.com. Again, big thanks to everybody that's helped out and contributed over the last year, and really, really nice to meet all of these new faces in 2024. I'm really looking forward to what goes on in 2025. Thanks again.